Everyone, it's Lucas again, not with a song this time, but with a book. I also like to sort of like highlight stories that I just really love. This is a book that I recently discovered at my new favorite bookstore, which is the Fiction Center in Brooklyn, right across from BAM. And this is called Radiant Child by Javaka Steptoe, and it's about the great artist Jean Michel Basquiat, and it's a story of young artist Jean Michel Basquiat, and I just wanted to share this with you today. All right, I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please get it. It's awesome. I mean, these illustrations, man, they are amazing. I've never seen anything quite like it. Like even the inside cover, right, is killer. Look at that. Man. Wow. And it goes somewhere in Brooklyn. Hey, Brooklyn. Between hearts that thump double dutch and hopscotch and salty mouths that slurp sweet ice, little boy dreams of being a famous artist. In his house, you can tell a serious artist dwells as he sits at a table with pencils scattered everywhere. Jean Michel draws from morning until night with a serious face. Amid a storm of papers, he refuses to sleep until he has created a masterpiece. At night, images enchant Jean Michel's mind, and he wakes from his dream to add one more line. His drawings are not neat or clean, nor does he color inside the lines, but they, sloppy, ugly, and sometimes kind of weird, but somehow still beautiful. Do you like to color outside the lines too? Yeah? Does everything have to be so neat? I don't think so. His art comes from his mother, Matilde, a Puerto Rican woman who designs and sews, cooks and cleans, and makes the house look like a stylish magazine. But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean Michel on his father's old work papers. That's cool that she draws with him. I just think that's beautiful. From her, he learns that art is not only in the poetry books she reads to him or in the theaters and museums they visit. Art is the street games of little children, in our style and the words that we speak. It is how the messy patchwork of the city creates new meaning for ordinary things. While visiting a museum, he looks at his favorite work of art, reading the story behind each artist, reading the story behind each work. This is how Jean Michel learns what it means to be a famous artist. That's pretty amazing, right? Have you seen this before? Ah. Do you know the artist? You can ask your grown up. Back at home, he creates art on the floor as his father, Gerard, plays jazz records. Mom Matilde cooks arroz con pollo and calls Jean Michel mi amor. The energy and life of the city can be felt in each line of his drawing. Have you ever listened to music while you try to draw? You should try that sometime and see if that inspires you as well to sort of inspires your artwork. Just a thought. As time goes by, Jean Michel learns that art has a healing power. After a car accident, he's scared and confused. Matilde gives him a book to calm his fears. It is filled with pictures of bones, skulls, and other body parts. Huh. Jean Michel draws from it until he knows it all by heart, and somehow he's no longer afraid. Huh. Back at home, Jean Michel's body heals, but his heart breaks. His mother's mind is not well. His mother's mind is not well. Wow. And the family breaks. She no longer lies on the floor and draws with Jean Michel, but sits by the window singing to the birds. Jean Michel is confused and filled with a terrible blues when Mathilde can no longer live at home. Wow. That is really, really heartbreaking. Wow. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? How do you think he feels? Right? I mean, I can't even imagine. That's devastating. So he tries drawing the terrible out of his blues, but things are not the same. As Jean Michel grows older, he visits his mother when he can, and always bringing his artwork to show, telling her that one day it will be in a museum. When I am a famous artist, he says. It's amazing. This book really gives you the sense of, you know, how much work it takes to be great at something, you know? I mean, he it's not he just did not only have natural talent, which he had, but he also worked really hard at his craft. I don't see a lot of books that really go into that, and I just thought that was really cool. A teenager now, Jean Michel decides, Papa, I will be very, very famous one day. With a sly look, a twinkle in his eye, Jean Michel leaves Brooklyn for New York City, or for Manhattan, the Lower East Side, a concrete jungle where only the tough survive. During the day, dressed in a green jumpsuit splattered with paint, Jean Michel stays with friends, sleeping on couches, on floors, leaving a barrage of collages and poem-filled papers everywhere he goes. That was one of the things that was so cool about his work. He did not only he used words, he used words and images in his work, which is very cool. Have you ever tried that? I don't know. You might want to sometime. At night, Jean Michel spray paints the walls downtown with poems and drawings that catch the eye of artists, gallery goers, and passerbys. Under his art, he signs the name Samo. Instead of Jean Michel, he writes the name Samu. Everybody wants to know, who is Samu? Samu moves from street corner to art gallery walls with powerful color compositions in line, collaging and painting on everything he could find. His art is still not neat or clean, and definitely not inside the lines, but still somehow beautiful. With his magical charm, Jean Michel draws a crowd, but when it's time to work, he prefers to be alone, with the radio and TV on full blast. Now, in expensive suits splattered with paint, he flips through stacks of magazines and open books and paints into the night, and sometimes for days at a time, while sounds and images jump into his head. Jean Michel, an artist among artists, never doubts one line, creating a soundtrack that is all his own. People describe him as radiant child, wild, a genius child. But in his heart, he's king, so he draws crowns for himself and others he admires. A grown man now, with the art world in his hands, Jean Michel still visits his mother when he can, and at his most important shows, above all, critics, fans, and artists he admires, the place of honor is his mother's queen on a throne. He is now a famous artist. And look how he sort of uses so many different ways to create his art: collage, drawing, etching, photographs, and it's amazing. It's really, really cool. And oh, that is the end. So, and what's also cool is that the author talks about his process for making this book, and you also get a lot of information about Jean Michel Basquiat here, about his life, that is not in the book. So it's a really great book. I highly recommend it. Radiant Child by Javaka Steptoe. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.